Which banks lead in AI? The global leaders in banking innovation. The biggest banks in the world aren't competing on branches anymore. They're competing on algorithms. Artificial intelligence has become the defining strategic investment in financial services, and the gap between leaders and laggards is widening fast. So, which banks are leading in artificial intelligence today, and what separates them from the rest? To answer that, we look at objective third-party data. The Evident Artificial Intelligence Banking Index tracks 50 major global banks across 4 dimensions: artificial intelligence talent, innovation, leadership, and transparency. These 4 dimensions, drawn from 90 indicators and millions of public data points, give the clearest available picture of artificial intelligence maturity in banking. In 2025, 47 out of 50 banks improved their scores year over year. But 2 banks pulled significantly ahead of the field. JPMorgan Chase ranked number 1 globally with a score of 79. Capital One ranked second with 78.1. Both posted their largest score gains ever, adding 9 and 9.6 points respectively. JPMorgan Chase leads across every dimension of the index. The bank runs hundreds of artificial intelligence use cases across trading, risk management, fraud detection, and operations. It has deployed internal generative artificial intelligence tools to more than 200,000 employees. For JP Morgan, artificial intelligence isn't a pilot program, it's standard operating infrastructure. Capital One earns its ranking through a cloud-first architecture and advanced data platforms built for scale. Its artificial intelligence work spans credit risk modeling, real-time fraud detection, and personalized banking experiences. Capital One's chief scientist has described agentic artificial intelligence this way: the goal is to transfer the cognitive burden from the human to the system. The Royal Bank of Canada ranks third globally with a score of 58.4. RBC developed Aiden, an artificial intelligence system deployed in electronic trading and market analysis, one of the more mature production deployments in global banking. Rounding out the 2025 top 10, Commonwealth Bank of Australia at 4th, Morgan Stanley at 5th, Wells Fargo at 6th, UBS at 7th, HSBC at 8th, Goldman Sachs at 9th, and Bank of America at 10th. Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and Bank of America each jumped 5 or more positions compared to 2024. Goldman Sachs is worth examining closely. Its chief information officer has stated that data quality is the single most important factor in the quality of artificial intelligence. Goldman codifies institutional knowledge as structured contexts, so its agentic systems can learn from the bank's own expertise. The most common artificial intelligence use cases across these leaders include fraud detection, credit risk modeling, algorithmic trading, customer service assistance, and internal productivity tools for employees. Banks deploying artificial intelligence at scale run hundreds of these use cases simultaneously. The competitive advantage is clear. Banks with stronger artificial intelligence capabilities show lower cost-to-income ratios. 60% of banks that reduced operating costs either maintained or improved their index ranking. Artificial intelligence maturity and financial performance are moving together. The next frontier is agentic artificial intelligence, where systems act autonomously across complex workflows. Leading banks are already deploying agents in fraud prevention, financial operations, and customer-facing roles. The infrastructure decisions these banks make today will define competitive positioning for the next decade. 18 of the top 25 banks in the Evident Index are Teradata customers. That isn't coincidence. Artificial intelligence at scale demands a data foundation that can support hundreds of concurrent use cases with governance, speed, and accuracy. The Teradata Autonomous Knowledge Platform gives banks the infrastructure to build and deploy artificial intelligence without limits. To see how leading banks are deploying agentic artificial intelligence today, read our full report at the link in the description.